Hello everybody, let's watch on how I'm going to go ahead and cut this pan. First thing what I did was to go ahead and fold my fabric into two. Sorry of the camera flashing, that's because the fabric is white, you guys already know. But just go ahead and fold your fabric, and when you fold it, make sure that whatever you have folded should be 1/4 of your hip plus 4 extra inch. Okay, then I'll go ahead and draw a straight line, which is going to be the guideline. We're making elastic waistband short, so I'm going to go ahead. I'll be minus 2 inch from my elastic. Then I'll just draw a straight line from that part downward. The next thing I'm going to do is I will go ahead now, measure from waist to the hip depth. I will minus 2 inch for my waistband, but later on go ahead to minus 1.5 inch. Okay, then I'll mark from the waist to the hip depth, which is 8 inch. From the waist to the crotch depth. To get a crotch depth is by dividing round hip by 4. Whatever you have, you're going to add 1 inch to it. Mark that up. Then I'm going to go ahead and mark the length of my short. After marking it up, I'll go ahead and connect it up with a straight line. When I'm done doing so, the next thing I'll do is to take round hip divided by 4. Mark that up. I'm also going to do the same thing here. Now to get a crotch extension is by dividing round hip by 10. Whatever you have, you minus 1/2 inch from there, then you mark it up here. I'll be also adding up my allowance, so I'll go ahead and add up my allowance. Then connect it up, but making sure that it is not too deep. Okay, it's not too deep. Then I'm going to go ahead now and measure or whatever I have from this end all the way to that end. Then I'll transfer it up to the down part to the hemline. Then I'm going to go ahead and connect that up with a straight line, or you can go ahead and give it a little bit curvy, or if you don't want yours to be that open at the hemline, go ahead and go in at the hemline by at least maybe 2 inch. Then you're going to connect it up, but I'm going to be using the first line that I drew. Okay, this is what it looked like. So I'm going to be cutting it up. We'll be using this front to cut up the back. To cut the back is quite very easy and understanding. So I'll go ahead and fold my fabric into two. Then I will take the front, I'll place it on it, making sure everything is same. After doing so, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I have at least 3 inch. I'll extend the back by 2.5 inch, and then the hemline I'll go out by 1.5 inch. Then I'm going to go ahead and connect this up. I'm sorry for the flashing. Okay, I'm really sorry about that. Then at this part here, I'll be extending it up by 1 inch, even though some people do 2 inch, but I always like to extend mine by 1 inch. Go ahead and connect that part up, and we're going to cut it up. After cutting, now the next thing I want to do is to come to the front. I'll be going down by 1/2 inch. Mark that up. I'm going to cut that up. Okay, I'm cutting only the front, all right, not the back. Now once I'm done doing so, I'm going to go ahead and open up my piece, but before I go ahead and open it up, I will separate them. Okay, after separating it up, I'm going to go ahead, I'll be pinning up the crotch of it. I'll do the same thing to both the back and the front. I'll be stitching 1/2 inch away. But before I go ahead and stitch, and when I'm done stitching the crotch, I'm going to go ahead and stitch the side seam of it. Okay, and join the inseam of it also. I'll be stitching by it by 1/2 inch away. All right, then after stitching, you can go ahead to overlock it if you wish to, if you have an overlock machine. If not, you can use a zigzag stitch that up. When I'm done stitching, I will flip it up to the right side. Now I'm be joining up the inseams, okay? Join up the inseam and stitch. I'm done joining it. The next thing I'm going to do is to cut up elastic. To cut your elastic is round waist. Whatever you have, you're going to go ahead and minus 2 or 3 inch depending on how stretchy your elastic is. Remember, when you're cutting elastic waistband, you don't normally use your waist measurement. You only use your waist measurement when it comes to cut the elastic. I hope this part is clear. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead, I'll measure up whatever I have, then I'm going to go ahead and cut up the band for the elastic. I hope this part is clear. So I have folded it, the measurement of my elastic. So you're just going to go ahead and measure your elastic, whatever you get. If it is 1 inch, you multiply that by 2, okay? 1 multiplied by 2, all right? So if it is 2 inch, you multiply that 2 by 2. I hope this part is clear. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut it up. Like I said, I'm sorry about the flashing of the camera. That's because I'm using up a white fabric. Then I'm going to go ahead, I'll be joining up by 1/2 inch. But first of all, I'll go ahead and pin that up and stitch. After stitching, the next thing I want to do is to fold my band just like you can see me doing here. Then I'll notch the 4 angles of the band so I'll be able to join it easily on my pants. All right, notch the 4 angles of my band so I'll be easily to join it up to the short. Now that I'm done joining it, I'm going to put it up like this. Just look at the way I'm doing it. I'm going to put the pan inside the band just like you can see here, okay? Then I'll go ahead and pin notches to notches. I have 4 notches. I'm going to pin them up together. Then after pinning it, I will take it to the machine. I'm going to go ahead, I'll be stitching that up, but make sure to leave at least 2 or 3 inch so that you'll be able to pass your elastic through, okay? So when I'm done stitching, I'm going to remove up the pants. You guys already know we'll install our elastic inside. Now I'm getting my safety pin. I'll go ahead and pin up my elastic. Then I'll pass it through that 3 inch that I left. Remember I said you could leave 2 or 3 inch or even 4. That's up to you. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it through this hole and make sure that I come all the way around. Come back to where I enter. Just take your time, go through it step by step, and making sure that the elastic does not go inside the pan. When I get to the end, I'm going to place the elastic just like this. Then I'll go ahead and pin. I'll be stitching it up with a zigzag stitch to secure my elastic. When I'm done stitching, I'll remove it up. We have something like this. As you can see, the waistband is so beautiful and the pan itself is very, very, very beautiful. Just look at it. Now the next thing I will have to do is to go ahead and run 2 or 4 stitches. But before I go ahead and do so, I'll have to close the opening that we left. Then I'll go ahead and run 2 or 4 stitches on the band itself. That's to avoid the elastic from rubbing when you actually put it on. Okay, I also love to do my waistband just like that, but you can leave it up like this part is optional. Okay, when I'm done stitching 2 3 4 stitches on the elastic waistband, you can see this is what it look like. It is very beautiful. I'll go ahead later on to zigzag that. I will not be hemming my pan, but later I can hem it up. So I hope you find this tutorial helpful. If you do, don't forget to follow me, like, comment and share. Anita Handmade Creation. Thank you so much.